modern BGs kind of just suck ass, right? Modern MMO PvP is not fun. In New World, the meta for PvP quickly died off because they wouldn't support it. In World of Warcraft, PvP in retail is effectively for the most part dead. PvP in Classic doesn't actually happen. Everyone says they like PvP and they immediately bitch and complain as soon as any kind of PvP happens. You can't even give people rewards to incentivize PvP because nobody gives a shit. If you look at Classic WoW, right, or TBC or Wrath, a very small percentage partakes in Arena. In retail, an even smaller percentage partakes in Arena. And in Classic BGs, it's never been about the PvP. No one gives a fuck. It's about efficiency, honor per hour. How much energy and time am I wasting sitting here? Is AV more efficient? We're only spamming AV. Is AB the meta? We're only spamming AB. Is Warsong the meta? We're only spamming Warsong. In 2019, people literally killed off the PvP servers because they needed to hit their honor quotas. I'm sorry for running around. I'm waiting for my AB queue to pop. People were literally running around their servers, like invading cities and killing off all the Horde or Alliance to the point everybody transferred off their servers. In 2019, 2020, 2021, the servers became 99% Horde or Alliance within, I think, a year. Most servers are like that, I think, aside from Globulus, which was the only 50-50 server. And you look at this, and it's just a terrible experience overall for everybody involved about what's happened to the PvP in the game. Nobody's really PvPing for the fun of it. Maybe a couple of days on the weekend. But like, a very small percentage of Classic players love PvP. They only PvP 1v1 duels. They like sitting there doing like, tournament brackets. They love the PvP thrill and experience of like open world PvP. The majority only on PvP servers to literally play with the majority, to play with where everyone else is, and because the better players are on PvP servers, so they want to raid with the better players. But I feel like everyone has kind of like deluded themselves into saying, I love PvP, when nobody actually PvPs for the sake of PvP, for the fun of PvP. In Anniversary, you could not get a Warsong or a Wrathy Basin queue to pop for months. You would have to get pre-made people together to have PvP happen for Warsong Gulch AB. People, for almost the entirety of Classic Anniversary, the only battleground was Alterac Valley. Legitimately, as soon as any open world PvP happened, the immediate thing I would see in guild chat or in like trade chat or in like server chat or just like, like the zone chat, any invite to layer 2, any invite to layer 3 or 4, any invite off this layer, because people just don't partake in it. And because for the most part, I'm gonna be real, open world PvP has always been kind of shitty. Like, if I'm leveling as a level 40 and then it's getting camped by a rogue that's 60 in like raiding gear, it's kind of like a frustrating experience for everybody involved, right? Because you either really enjoy the PvP, it's really phenomenal, but at the end of the day, shit, I didn't mount. But like at the end of the day, we see how modern PvP has evolved in the MMO genre in general, right? I'm not even just talk about WoW. Final Fantasy XIV has no PvP scene. Black Desert Online's PvP scene has been ever shrinking as they add more and more PvE elements because the PvP has got sweatier and sweatier and the barrier to entry got worse and worse. Guild Wars 2's PvP scene is incredibly difficult to break into because of how sweaty and elite a lot of people are in that. Every game has PvP, but for the most part, PvP is always an afterthought because the PvE players all say they like PvP, but no one actually truly partakes in PvP. And like honestly, it's not necessarily like even a bad thing. It's just genuinely simply what it is, right? I personally think that PvP could be good. PvP could be amazing. But no matter how I look at it, I don't think the Classic player base actually really wants PvP in the level that they say they do, right? Maybe I'm wrong. But like, I just don't see the way people play the game or the way people enjoy the game to showcase that they truly enjoy PvP. PvP is a fundamental part of classic WoW. The whole game of vanilla WoW was designed with PvP in mind. Paladin, in this context, was never meant to be a good PvE class. It was designed as being a dominant PvP class. And classic players don't like that. Classic players don't enjoy that in the modern age. Like, we look at the idea of Classic Plus, fixing all the classes, making all the classes good, making Arena a staple. They want to change the game fundamentally because they don't enjoy the way it plays in 2025, 2026. And in my personal opinion, I think the reason for that is we have changed as a player base, right? We have changed as a player base and don't quite play the game how it was ever intended to be played. I've talked about this before, but like the classic player base is bastardized vanilla and anniversary. Completely a like foreign alien playstyle of how the game was always meant to be played. From raiding to efficiency to meta to how we play and partake the game is a bastardized version of that. And in my opinion, I think PvP is the same. I don't think people truly PvP in the game the way it's intended to be, because if people enjoy PvP or PvP, they would be playing PvP for PvP. They would not be sitting here and playing AV or Arathi or Warsong Gulch for honor per hour. Literally, people, you see this in every AB or Warsong Gulch or AV game I'm doing. If the game takes longer than 15, 16 minutes and there's no end in sight, people immediately AFK out. They would rather wait 15 minutes than go back in. Because people aren't playing PvP for the fun of it. They're playing to gear their character, for their honor per hour, for the efficiency of the game. I'm not saying everybody's like that. I'm not saying it's 100% like that. I don't even think the majority wants to play like that. But I think this idea of efficiency over everything in the classic player base, I think for the majority, PvP is an afterthought to their PvE experience, and all they care about is how to make their PvE experience as smooth, efficient, or as fun as possible. And I don't know. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm wrong here. But I kind of feel like, to a degree, we have to see how, like, people PvP. In Classic Anniversary, if you turtled in AV, people would literally spam report you for PvPing and playing AV. You playing AV how it was designed to be played was genuinely frowned upon because you're not playing the game in the intended efficiency per like minute, the efficiency per second. I know, Unc, but that's what I'm saying has happened is that I feel like a lot of people are treating PvP as the afterthought rather than the main gameplay loop it was meant to be. And I know Blizzard's design is the problem. I know Blizzard's design is the issue. But what I'm saying is this is how people partake in it. This is how people play the game. This is how they like dive into the game. This is how they consume the game. I just think it's bad design that this is what Classic WoW has evolved to. Every MMO has evolved like this. Literally, they killed off New World because people didn't want the PvP like that. And I think that's terrible. I genuinely think that's a terrible thing, that this is what's happened to the game and the society of MMO gamers. Like, reporting someone for trying to play AV, reporting someone for turtling, getting mad that someone is PvPing in the PvP game mode is the most World of Warcraft classic fan-based thing I've ever fucking heard of. And I just think that's simply what it is. I don't think there's any way around that. Welcome to modern fucking classic PvP.